What's going on, everyone? And on TCG here, and I want to spend a little bit of time talking about sorcery and sorcery print runs on this very, very interesting election day in the United States. So, as I mentioned in my videos yesterday, I was in Las Vegas for SorceryCon. So it was probably the largest coordinated event for Sorcery Contested Realms, and the game designers themselves have not held any of the events. They've all been fan-based events. But as part of the event, the sorcery team was there, and they went through a little PowerPoint slide. So, as I love playing with numbers here, we're going to work on back solving for print runs, which is something that is super interesting. So, in the piece here, you have Simon, who's kind of the operations manager, faces the company, whatever. Just a couple data points here. And the one I want to focus on is really just over 100 million cards produced. So generally speaking, that's not a super intelligent or popular thing to say. But in this case, it does give us a little bit of a benchmark as to how to start back solving for the math. I think the other thing that's interesting, and I've touched on this in other videos, is only 25% of the dust codes are registered. So in Sorcery Contested Realms, there is a scratch off on the bottom of the booster boxes where you can redeem on their website, and you can get, quite honestly, some pretty cool stuff. So the fact that only 25% of the boxes have been registered means that there is a shitload of this stuff sitting on shelves somewhere. So, when we talk about the risk of an indie TCG failing and the price plummeting, that is really the key catalyst. But that being said, let's look at the print runs. And let's try to back solve for both Arthurian Legends and Beta. And some of these numbers are pretty close. Some of these numbers are rough. But this is really an exercise in, close to fucking enough, if you know what I'm talking about. So, Alpha. So the official Kickstarter print run was announced at about 29,000. And we know there's extra boxes around. They've used them for price support, various number of things. So 29,000 and change. So we're gonna round this up to 30,000 for alpha precons. The precons come with 4 pre-constructed decks of 52 cards each and 1 pack. The packs are 15 cards per pack. So there was like 7,100 and change from the Kickstarter. We're gonna round that up to 7,500 because we know they printed some extra for loss items getting destroyed, etc. And the box toppers, there's 1 box topper per box. Now, this does include some small tokens that I'm not really counting for this. It's a ballpark of 5 main cards. So again, this is an exercise in close to fucking off. If you wanna nitpick, that's okay. Feel free to do so. But in the alpha boxes, there were 39 packs per box, 15 cards per pack. So just extending the math, you have 17.55 million cards. The alpha precon decks, about 1.56 million. The precon packs, another 112,000. Box toppers, 150,000. And we know there's some promos and things like that move back and forth. Yeah, not material in the grand scheme of things. So we'll just throw those away and ignore them for now. So the entire alpha / Kickstarter print run in cards, I'm estimating it's somewhere around 19.4 million. So let's move to beta. So beta, the best estimate that I've come up with and some of my friends in the industry have come up with is there somewhere around 95,000 boxes of beta produced nationwide. We know there was 10 to 20,000 that went to Singapore. We know there's 3 to 4 different waves in North America. And, we know there were certain folks that opened multiple thousand of boxes for singles, etc. So let's just put a pin in this. This is effectively 3 times the print run, which whether it's 2.5 times, 3.5 times, we're going to end up massaging these numbers anyway. So 95,000 boxes, 15,000 precons, so effectively twice what was printed in beta. Same with the number of packs, and 1 box topper for booster boxes. The big change here is there are 36 packs per box instead of 39. The 39 was a Kickstarter special hitting as an incentive for hitting one of the pledge tiers. So as we go through this, your 51 million cards for booster boxes, 3.1 for pre-con decks, 225 for pre-con packs, just under 500,000 for box toppers. So 55 million cards. So similar size set to Alpha, one fewer card. Yeah, the curios were a little bit different. Those are obviously embedded in here theoretically. So now between Alpha and Beta, we're sitting, call it right around 75 million cards. So that means for Arthurian Legends, there have to be somewhere around 25 million cards remaining to get to the 100,000 number. And quite honestly, if they printed 115, 120,000 or a million, they probably would have said that. So, I take 100 million plus to be somewhere between 95 million and 105 million, ballpark. So, this is the old saying, when you're trying to make it, you always exaggerate a little bit on the upside, which is perfectly fine here. So if we back solve for 25 million cards, it's effectively 70,000 boxes. So you have a box topper with 5. There might be 6 or 7. I don't remember exactly. But there's only 24 cards per pack in the box, 15 per. So 25 million cards versus 51 million for Beta may not seem to make a whole lot of sense, but the Arthurian Legends base set, excluding the curios and the super tough to get chase cards, are 220, where it's 402 for Beta. So effectively 2 for 1. So it makes a little bit of sense. There were no precons for Arthurian Legends, so this is just a straight number. So it's 70,000 boxes for Arthurian Legends. It puts you right around 100 million cards produced. Now, again, there's probably 500,000 cards plus or minus with promos and that stuff. Who knows exactly how they did the calculation, but neither here nor there. So that being said, this math makes perfect sense from a reasonableness perspective. We know for certain that they didn't dump 70,000 boxes of Arthurian Legends in Wave 1. They probably dropped about 35,000, so 50%, with another 17,500 coming the end of November, and the remaining 17,500 boxes coming in January. And they may print more as needed. But again, it's a smaller set. It's been reasonably well received. Some people love it. I'm a little lukewarm. I mean, it's cool color, but the chase versus Alpha and Beta, it isn't quite the same, and that really has nothing to do with the set. It's just the fact that the bar is pretty damn high. So when I think about this and I try to triangulate 30,000 Alpha boxes, we know that within a reasonable degree of variance. 95,000 boxes for Beta, I think that's reasonably close. And 70,000 boxes for Arthurian Legends, I think, is reasonably close. Again, if we look at similar print runs, 51 million cards for Beta, 25 million cards for Arthurian Legends, based on effectively half the set size, a little bit less than half with a little bit of cushion. These numbers make sense to me. So, if you have any questions, any feedback, feel free to post in the comments. This is a live, active discussion, but I think there's a lot of items out there, a lot of boxes out there. I think a high level of Alpha boxes have probably been ripped. 60-70%, again, just an ASPL number. I have no facts, but if you're looking at 25% of the dust codes registered, that means of this 95,000 boxes for Beta, there's probably 35-ish to 40,000 sitting on shelf somewhere. So anyway, wanted to go through this video since we have this data point that was graciously provided by management. Like, subscribe, join the Discord. We do have some deals coming up on some discounted Pokemon cards. We do have a pretty sizable allocation of Searching Sparks, which we're holding on to for now. But we are in the middle of ordering a pretty sizable amount of Prismatic Evolutions. And we do have some Arthurian Legends booster boxes and some Beta booster boxes. If anybody's interested, I'm not going to list a price. Just feel free to PM me on the Discord as a non-admin. So, I guess